Imagine living in a world where you are always being watched, where history changes overnight, your thoughts are no longer entirely your own, and where thinking differently is the most dangerous crime of all. Hey everyone, welcome back to Books and Beyond with Preeti. And today we are going to explore a spoiler free review of 1984 by George Orwell. It's a deeply haunting and disturbing novel that forces you to question reality, power, and the fragile nature of freedom in a world ruled by absolute control. Before we go deeper into the ideas and themes of this book, let's quickly look at the basic details of 1984, including its edition, publishers, and page count, so you know exactly what you are picking up. 1984 is available in both paperback and hardcover editions, with the paperback being the most commonly used and more affordable option. You can choose either one depending upon your preference. It was originally published by Sackar and Warburg in 1949. Some other common modern publishers are Penguin India, HarperCollins, Rupa Publications, and DC Books. 1984 is typically around 300 pages depending upon the publisher's editions and format. Now that we have covered the basic details of the book, let's talk about the mind behind this powerful novel. George Orwell's real name was Eric Arthur Blair. He was an English novelist, journalist, essayist, and critic. He is best known for his sharp political insight and deep concern for truth, freedom, and social justice. He is best known for his dystopian novel 1984 and the allegorical novel Animal Farm, both of which had a huge literary and cultural impact. Keeping the author's vision in focus, let's now explore the world of 1984 without any spoilers. 1984 is set in a dystopian world ruled by a totalitarian regime. The story takes place in Oceania, a society ruled by the all-powerful party and the mysterious figure known as Big Brother, who is constantly watching. People have been conditioned to accept the harsh reality where even their thoughts are controlled. In this world, no one is truly free because even independent thinking is treated as a crime. The party maintains control through fears, constant surveillance, and relentless propaganda. Its slogan, "War is peace, freedom is slavery," and ignorance is strength, are displayed everywhere. These chilling contradictions define the world of 1984, where logic is distorted and truth is manipulated until people no longer question it but accept it as reality. The plot follows Winston Smith, a low ranking government employee at the Ministry of Truth, whose job is to alter historical records so they always match the party's version of truth. In this society, truth is not something you discovered, it's something you are told, because here facts are flexible, past is constantly rewritten, and independent thinking is considered as crime. As Winston quietly begins to question the system, he slowly realizes how deeply the party controls every aspect of life, language, memory, relationships, and even thoughts. Citizens are kept under constant surveillance through telescreen, with fear enforced through propaganda and psychological manipulation. In such a suffocating and controlled society, most citizens have completely surrendered to this reality, but Winston is different. Deep inside, he remembers or believes he remembers a time when freedom existed, when thoughts were personal, and when reality was not constantly manipulated. Winston's rebellion begins quietly. It is not dramatic or heroic, but deeply personal. It starts with thoughts, with memories, and with a longing to understand what truth truly means. Yet, the more he questions the system, the more he becomes aware of the terrifying presence of the thought police, a reminder that even a single independent thought can lead to destruction. As the novel unfolds, Winston is drawn towards the idea of resistance. He hears whispers of the Brotherhood, a secret revolutionary group working against the party. Around the same time, he meets Julia, and their relationship becomes more than romance. It becomes a silent act of defiance in a world determined to erase individuality, emotion, and human connection. What makes 1984 so powerful is that it doesn't romanticize rebellion, it doesn't show resistance as heroic or glamorous. Instead, it shows how brutally and completely the system is designed to crush anyone who dares to go against it. Now, let's talk about the writing style of 1984 by George Orwell. At first, the writing feels very simple. The sentences are clear, direct, and not decorative at all. Orwell doesn't use flowery language or dramatic descriptions. Everything is straightforward. But that simplicity is what makes it powerful. Because the language is so plain and controlled, the world of the novel feels more real. The horror doesn't come from dramatic writing, it comes from the ideas, and that makes it even more disturbing. The tone of the book is cold, serious, and sometimes emotionally distant. Even intense scenes are described in a calm and controlled way. This actually makes them more impactful. The writing feels controlled, just like the society in the novel is controlled. Orwell doesn't just tell a story, he explores concepts like newspeak, doublethink, party slogans, and Big Brother to show how language and ideology can control people. And in the middle of the book, the writing becomes more serious and idea focused. It may feel slightly heavy, but it fits the theme of the novel. There is also symbolism, but it's not loud or dramatic. For example, Big Brother represents constant surveillance, Newspeak represents control over thoughts, Room 101 represents ultimate fear. Orwell doesn't over explain these symbols, he let readers understand them naturally. Another interesting thing is how the writing changes with Winston's mental state. In the beginning, the narration feels calm and observant, but as the story moves forward, it becomes more tense, fearful, and psychologically intense. The writing slowly reflects his breakdown. It's not a fast paced or heavy action book. Instead, it builds tension slowly. It focuses more on ideas and psychological pressure than dramatic events. Overall, the writing style of 1984 is simple but powerful. It can feel heavy and tense, but that's done on purpose. It helps the readers to feel the same suffocation as the characters. Now let's talk about the theme of the book. At its core, 1984 is about totalitarian rule and absolute control. It shows what happens when a government controls not only people's action but also their thoughts, memories, and even the truth itself. One of the most powerful themes is surveillance and the loss of privacy. Big Brother is watching is not just a slogan. Constant monitoring destroys individuality, trust, and authentic identity. When people know they are always being watched, they stop being themselves. One of the most powerful themes is surveillance and the loss of privacy. Big Brother is watching is not just a slogan. Constant monitoring destroys individuality, trust, and authentic identity. When people know they are always being watched, they stopped being themselves. Another central theme is the manipulation of truth and reality. The party constantly rewrites history. If the past can be changed, then the truth becomes unstable. And as Orwell famously suggests, whoever controls the past controls the future. Reality becomes whatever the party declares it to be. Language becomes another weapon of control through newspeak. It isn't just a simplified language, it is designed to limit thought, remove rebellious ideas, and make certain concepts literally unthinkable. If you cannot express an idea, eventually you cannot even think it. The novel explores psychological control and fear. Fear is the foundation that holds this system together. Fear of punishment, fear of isolation, fear of being different. Instead of dramatic public violence, the party relies on psychological control. The true horror of 1984 is not just physical torture, but mental domination. Another deeply emotional theme is individuality versus collective identity. Winston's rebellion is small and personal, a forbidden love, private thoughts, but in a world where loyalty must belong only to party, even love becomes an act of rebellion. Ultimately, one of the most haunting themes of 1984 is hopelessness. Unlike many dystopian novels, this story offers almost no heroic revolution. Instead, it shows the devastating power of a system that doesn't just control your actions, it controls your mind. And when a person finally accepts the system's version of reality, they don't just lose freedom, they lose themselves. 1984 forces us to question reality and truly look around us to ask what is actually happening in our society. It warns us about what can happen if we slowly lose our freedom and allow ourselves to be crushed under a totalitarian regime. A system that claims it is working for us, but in reality slowly swallows our identity. For me, this book didn't just feel like a fiction, it felt like a warning, one that still feels disturbingly relevant. I'm giving it 4.1 out of 5 stars. It's powerful, deeply thought provoking. At the same time, it's emotionally very heavy and not an easy or comforting read. And at times, it can feel overwhelming. So that's it for today's review. If you have already read this book, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow book lovers, and subscribe to Books and Beyond with Preeti for more book reviews and recommendations. Until next time, stay curious, keep reading, and let every book take you beyond. Bye.